I got stuff for you.
Holy moly. I need to get some snakes and release them around my house.
But they love eating people. They love eating kids.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
Every day that you open your mouth,
I know, right?
I'm more convinced that you're abducted by aliens.
No.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
These are idiots.
I was laughing reading this because I already knew how you would feel.
Idiot. What part of the story fits your balloon?
Well,
This isn't a UFO. But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Well, Mothman.
Oh, yeah, Mothman.
Well, everyone, I think we know exactly what it is. So say it all with me. It was the sandhill crane.
Would you try it?
No.
You wouldn't eat it?
No.
Why?
Because they're probably toxic. There'd be a lot of poop in my pants. I've seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree. Welcome back to Cryptids the Corn podcast. I am the great and powerful mystery.
And I'm J Clone 72.
Beep, beep, boop, boop. And as you guys listen to this week's episodes, I am all over the place.
Yes.
So apologies ahead of time. I was extremely tired. I'm still extremely tired. I just had more time to drink coffee because we record the weekend backwards.
That's right, we do.
Pretty much, yeah.
For the most part.
We did today, exactly.
Exactly?
Exactly. But yeah, no, my kids have been sick, and they were screaming 4 a.m., so nobody slept in the house last couple nights. So you're gonna hear some brain fog.
Brain fog.
Definitely on this week's Wednesday episode, there was a lot of silent moments.
Hey, that's all right.
Just sitting here staring at each other.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
So, part 2 of Ghost of Empires.
All right.
Remember what we did last week?
The animals we did.
Mexican grizzly bear, Caribbean monk seal,
That's right.
ivory-billed woodpecker,
Yep, he's back.
Sailor sea cow.
Potentially back.
I think they're still there, yeah.
Yeah, I think they are too.
And then the Malagasy hippo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that one. The little guy, the little hippo in Madagascar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so we got some new ones today, huh?
Yep. First up is the Arabian ostrich.
Ooh.
You're going to start singing Arabian Nights?
Yeah, but an so a desert ostrich?
Yeah. Specifically an Arabian ostrich, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The Arabian ostrich, also known as the Syrian ostrich or the Middle Eastern ostrich, is an extinct subspecies of the ostrich that lived on the Arabian Peninsula and near the Near East until the mid-20th century. So not that long ago.
No, that's very recent.
And these guys are on everything, pots and all kinds of stuff. There's from Roman Syria. There's a mosaic tablet that has a leopard attacking one of these ostriches.
Oh, neat.
The Arabian ostrich range seemed to be continuous in prehistoric times. But with the drying up of the Arabian Peninsula, it disappeared from the inhospitable areas of the Arabian Desert, such as Rub Al Khal.
I'm not sure.
English. In historic times, the birds seemed to be occur in two distinct relic populations. So there was 2 distinct areas where they were still hanging out.
Okay.
A smaller one in southeast of the Arabian Peninsula, and a larger one in the areas where today borders Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Iraq, and Syria.
Okay.
That was a big area that was the biggest population of these guys left in the 20th century.
Oh, gosh. So no wonder why they're for sure gone. We just, bombed those places to non-existence.
Once very common in Nevera?
Nevera?
Yeah.
No, I don't know for sure.
A lot of N's, G's, and V's.
Oh, gosh.
Ostriches became extinct in the region in the 1920s as a result of widespread hunting. It was also present in what?
No, hunting, I'm not shocked.
It was also present in Qatar and the United Arab Emirates in prehistoric times, Oman and Kuwait. Eggshells of the Arabian ostrich have been found in Burma, although it is likely not not introduced to the island, but a typical like a religious burial. So basically, it was brought there for religious ceremonies.
Okay. The
Where
eggs.
yeah,
The eggshells. I
where they
guess.
were traded and stuff like that. And they may have been the eggs for food sources and stuff like that.
You remember that the famous? It's like the oldest depiction of the Great Pyramids is carved onto an egg.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's an Arabian ostrich egg.
could be, or a normal ostrich. That's Egypt's a little farther into Africa.
Just a little bit, but it's like it's right there though.
Yeah, it
But-
could be either species.
And that's just I don't know where that egg came from. That's just a
A
depiction. So it could have been a traveler.
I mean, it could have been.
Right, yeah. But Arabian ostrich, if they were that, well, I guess widespread back then.
Mitochondrial DNA studies show a close relationship with the North African subspecies of ostrich, including an integrate zone between the two.
Okay.
So where the two species butt up, there was a hybrid.
Yeah, crossbreeding going
which
on.
happens. It's So it's called integrades. Just means like for here in Ohio, the rainbow darter and orange throat darter, two little fish
Uh-huh.
that are very closely related. They always have an integrate zone in every river that
Gotcha.
they're both present in
Okay.
because they're so closely related that they mix.
Yep. That makes sense.
But yeah, they're normally a hybrid vigor. They're normally a lot bigger than either parent. Like when we get them, it's not hard to tell.
Which one's, yes, what it is.
Yep. Although indistinguishable from the subspecies, the females were possible slightly lighter in coloration. The only certain way to distinguish the two subspecies was that the Arabian ostrich was smaller and only marginally overlap. But yeah,
Okay.
relationship with humans. The Arabian ostrich was long a significant place in the culture of the region. As an adult with 11 offspring, it featured on the famous prehistoric graffiti rock near Rahab. In Mesopotamia, it was used as a sacrificial animal and featured in artwork all over the place.
Oh, darn it.
Painted on cups and other objects made from ostrich eggshells.
Hey.
It was traded as far as Eurotha in the Neo-Eurasian period. And in Tang, China, the ostrich was a welcome exotic gift fit for emperors. So yeah, they were being transported all the way into Tang, China.
Right, and treated like chihuahuas in South America. You raised for sacrifices.
No, that wasn't in China.
No, that wasn't in China.
Well, we've talked about it a lot, where Chinese emperors had really, really unique menageries.
Oh, yeah, exotic animals, like the giraffes.
Yeah, the giraffe was looked at as a Kirin,
Yeah.
which is a famous a type of Chinese dragon.
Yeah.
And the giraffe, you can look at literally the drawing is a giraffe, but nobody'd seen one. They're thousands of miles out of range.
All right, how are you supposed to know?
The Jewish view on the birds was less favorable. The fact that the female ostrich may leave the nest unattended because the eggshells are too thick to be easily broken by most predators. Here's a reason why the bird is considered with the parental care of the stork in the Book of Job, or the Book of Job. It's also the reason why the Book of Lemuriatis refers to the female ostrich as heartless.
Why is that?
Because
Because
they
they leave their
abandon-
eggs.
yeah.
Okay.
But most rheas, the males will take care of the nest, and the
Yeah.
females don't.
Okay.
But if you only rhea you see is rheaforms, which is the family of ostriches.
Uh-huh.
Most of them do that, including emus. The females will actually have multiple males they give eggs to.
Okay.
The Arabian ostrich is possibly among the birds forbidden for the Jewish as unclean under Leviticus, and basically one of the animals they viewed as unclean to eat.
So it's not kosher.
Yeah. In the Roman times, the demand for the ostrich to be used as the verso games or cooking. So basically, they used them in the fight pits a lot,
Oh, really?
mostly as cannon fodder to get have you have a lion or a tiger to get them all hyped up, go kill a big ostrich.
So it's not like rooster fighting.
No, the ostriches,
Okay.
or some of the people in the fights would actually fight the ostriches.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, shoot, a Roman gladiator or whatever would
And
probably
they-
take care of one pretty easily.
Arabian ostriches were also considered superior materials for hat making
Oh, I bet.
compared to the North African subspecies.
Oh, so what we got now?
Yeah, so they were both present at the same time, obviously.
Right, yeah. They
But the
preferred
people in Rome, where they're making hats, they wanted the Arabian ostrich, not the African ostrich.
finer material.
Yeah, which ostrich leather is still used today for
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of stuff.
You ever felt it?
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's weird. I mean, I
it's
think
because the feather pits.
those look really unique. It looks weird, but I like the way it feels, I guess. The material feels nice.
I don't like it, but I don't like the way it feels.
Yeah.
That's just me. But obviously, it's very popular.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we eat ostriches a lot.
I've never had one.
I've had jerky. I've never had one just cooked, roasted.
Wonder what that'd be like. We should. I bet
Sure
Jungle Jim's probably has them, right?
They've had them, yeah.
Like ostrich leg.
Yeah, I think they've had chunks of ostrich, yes.
Do they
I
have
think emus are more popular in jungle gyms.
Do they have? Are they like chickens? They got the white meat and the dark meat.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I've never, like I said, I've had the jerky.
Yeah, true. Okay.
And it tastes like jerky.
Yeah, exactly. All jerky tastes just like jerky.
So widespread introduction of firearms and later motor vehicles mark the steady decline of this species. See, we're pretty hard to hunt and pretty hard to catch, or at least hard enough that a bunch of them got away.
Okay.
But once guns and motor vehicles came out,
yeah, it was pretty.
They started chasing them and mowing them down.
Hmm.
Earlier hunting methods with bows, arrows, and dogs allowed most of the animals in the group to escape. But rifles and cars enabled poaching and excessive game hunting to basically just wipe the species off the planet. Gosh. By the early 20th century, the Arabian ostrich had become extremely rare. The main stronghold was northern Amphirda, north of the Saharian desert, between latitudes 34 and latitudes 25 north. But yeah, the Euphrates Valley also had a plentiful of them. But yeah, they were associated with Saharian gazelles and Arabian onyx, animals that are also now extinct and very rare, respectively.
Okay.
So the whole groups of animals that they were living with are pretty much wiped out.
Wiped out, yep.
Some of the last sightings of these individuals were in Tal al-Risk, north of Jordan, in 1928. A bird shot and eaten by pipeline workers in the area in the 1940s. Some specific sources state 1941. Two apocalyptic records of the birds suffering the same fate in 1948, and a dying individual found in 1966.
Wow, that's not that long ago at all.
No, and there were remains of old eggs still found by former rangers in the area of the southern subpopulation, which disappeared between the 1900s and 1920s, probably mainly because of the increasing aridity of the area. Basically, the northern population was getting ransacked by hunting. The southern population was getting smaller and smaller due to the area becoming more arid.
Right, the biome changing.
Yeah. Reintroduction attempts. Following analysis of mDNA controlled region holotypes, they confirmed a close relationship with the Arabian ostrich and the North African subspecies. The reintroduction process using the African ostrich to Saudi Arabia and Qatar in 1994, it failed though miserably.
Tried to establish them there, basically.
Yeah, it was completely the wrong one.
Oh, the wrong ostrich?
Yeah, they tried to do the ostrich from Africa into this area, and it just never took place. So they're still seen every once in a while. The areas where very low human populations, the edging of deserts and stuff like that. So people have claimed from planes and helicopters to see flocks of these birds still running through the desert.
Good. I sure hope so.
So there's a chance. These are like why they're on this list, why we're doing this, is there's a chance that these animals are still out there.
Right, yeah. I sure hope they are, because this sounds just like an interesting one. After seeing my first up-and-close encounter with an ostrich.
Juvenile male.
Yeah, it was just a juvenile male. They're pretty awesome birds.
Oh, they're mighty. They're definitely mighty.
Oh, yeah. And you just don't realize it till you're face-to-face with it. So I hope these things are still out there.
I think it was really funny before you seen that one talking on the show about how you think you could beat an ostrich in a fight.
I still could. That one, especially that one. That one I could have took, no problem. You grab him by the neck and you hold him down. That's it.
You just got to do that, though.
Yeah, it's easy. That's easy.
I have an ostriches in an Arabic poem.
You have what?
And ostriches are featured a lot in Arabic poems.
Oh, okay.
So I got a poem for you.
And is it in Arabic?
No, it's translated to English.
Oh, okay.
So
I was about to be really impressed.
It may not be as nicely sounding as it did in original language.
Okay.
Just due to translations.
Right. The meter is off.
Yes. Confined within remnants I've held so dear. Had I obeyed myself, I'd not asked for it. I see nothing in them but ostriches, like enslaved women holding bundles over their head. Amar Aquas described his horses during the hunting trip and compared it to ostriches, stating, his wits were like that of a gazelle and his legs were like that of an ostrich, while his swiftness of the wolf and the agility of a little fox. There you go.
Nice.
There's ostriches in a poem.
Wonderful. So good. They're part of the, the part of the folklore.
Yeah, I mean, they were featured a lot. They were talked about a lot. They were a very common like animal in their region for a very long time.
So they were an important bird for this region.
Yeah, and basically guns and trucks wiped them out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they were very hard to catch.
Well, imagine that you living your whole life being like the fastest thing out there. Next to a cheetah.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's no cheetahs in that part, I don't believe.
Okay.
There could be. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know they're fast. But either way, you're the fastest thing, and I guess the only thing you had to worry about before would be bows and arrows at that point.
Yeah, but those hunts would normally take one or two
Slingshots.
ostriches out.
Right, yeah. Now
they would use dogs to run the flock
okay.
at the people.
Now you got metal death machines that are just chasing you down
And Tommy guns.
and they have no fatigue on Tommy guns, yeah.
I mean, there were Gatling guns in the 1800s. Tommy guns, I believe, were the 1920s.
We got to try some ostrich meat.
I would eat them. I mean,
Yeah.
they're farmed here in the U.S., so it's not that big a deal. Emus are everywhere. You can find emu meat everywhere.
I'd rather try an ostrich first, though.
Harder to cook. You need a big smoker.
Oh, yeah, you need a really big one.
You need one the size of a room.
Just for a leg.
Mm-hmm. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to ask you. So do you think this one's still out there?
Yeah, I think they are. At least I hope they are. That's what I'm going to say. I think they are, but more or less, just had a hope.
So the Horton plane, the next one. And remember, so this all inspired by that Forrest Galante's video of animals that aren't his list that he thinks are still out there.
Yeah.
Or could be still out there, I guess. The Horton Plains slender loris.
Okay.
You know what a slender loris is?
Big snake?
No. That's funny, though. It's completely... What do you think the complete opposite of a big snake is?
I don't know. Fat cow?
A tiny primate.
Oh, okay.
A venomous primate.
Ooh, okay.
Or poisonous, depending on...
However you want to split it.
The Horton's Plains slender loris, also known as the Moten loris, is a bizarre and adorable all at the same time. It did a disappearing act for 65 years, which led many researchers to believe that it could be extinct. But Edge Researching, which is a group,
Okay.
managed to locate it more than they surveyed 1,000 nights straight in a row in Sri Lanka. So just tropical rainforest.
And Sri Lanka is the little island right off the tip of India, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's one of the craziest. It's one of the places I would love to go
Yeah.
just because of the amount of wildlife. It's one of those last rainforests. It's just packed with crazy animals.
Right, yeah.
But so they went through there for 1,000 nights in a row. Was declared pretty much extinct, and they found it. This is one of the two red slender loris subspecies. The other one being the dry zone loris. The red slender loris are part of the Loristae family, which includes the African Atawindabos, potos, and the gray loris, which are also little tiny primates. The family shares a common ancestor with extraordinary species such as the African bush babies and the Madagascaran lemurs.
Okay. So
So
they're
very,
old
very
world.
ancient.
Yeah.
The arms and legs are the source of its name. The slender loris has a very small face dominated by its huge round eyes, granted excellent night vision, enabling it to hunt insects during the night. Although they are primarily insectivores, they've been seen to eat gum, birds' eggs, and small vertebrates such as geckos and lizards.
Mm.
So, but they're tiny, so anything they can catch, they'll eat.
Right.
But mostly it's insects.
Gotcha.
Not wasteful at all. They consume every part of their prey, including the scales and the bones. Similar to other primates at high altitudes, the Horton's plain slender loris may be more carnivorous than the lowland subspecies. Horton plain slender loris has a short, thicker limbs relative to their body length, larger heads, thicker fur, which comparatively covers its ears. Very little is known about their social organization of these primates, although it is believed they resemble the dry zone loris, their cousins,
Right.
which is possibly one of the most social nocturnal primates, since it sleeps curled up in groups during the day, despite foraging alone at night. So they all kind of come back to one area to
Cluster
sleep.
together or sleep.
Because a lot of nocturnal primates are solitary.
Okay.
You look at eyes and lemurs and that kind of stuff, depending on which lemurs you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But like eyes never hang out with each other unless it's a baby.
Okay.
You know what an eye is, right?
Yeah. The little
Okay.
monkey.
A
Or
primate.
lemur. Lemur. Okay. I just call them all monkeys.
Yeah, I mean they're technically different. Like a loris isn't a lemur or isn't a lemur or an ape or anything. They're their own thing. But they are primates.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is one that did a disappearing act up until relatively recently.
Is this the one they caught on a trail camera or something like a Or like,
No, like you can. The only picture of this thing is from this group.
so they physically took the picture?
Yes.
Okay.
They walked up on one and recorded it.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I remember, I guess it was a different animal then. They just rediscovered an old, that might have been in Australia. They caught one on Australia or like the Congo or something. They caught one on camera, like a trail camera they had set up that hadn't been seen in.
Yeah.
But if it's,
Forrest has done that with several animals.
This
Forrest
ain't-
Galante.
Yes. But not this one. Okay. Or I mean, this ain't the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But
Morton slender loris is only known from the central highlands of central Sri Lanka, so a very small area. The subspecies is generally found in the undisturbed canopy of the Morton cloud forest and the moist Morton forest at altitudes of 1,800 to 2,300 meters.
okay.
So they live very high up,
Yeah.
hence the name. To date, they've only been observed in 5 forest patches, and the extent occurs as less than 300 kilometers. So a very small area. The population of the small primates are declined and currently believed to be approximately only 80 individuals.
Oh, gosh.
The primary threat is forest habitat is being destroyed for logging, agriculture, and development. The Edge has established a program to study and conserve the Horton's plain slender loris and is working with local forestry departments and the support of local stakeholders to reconnect loris territories to secure further of this extraordinary species. This is one that was literally declared extinct, and then this group went back and found it again.
Rediscovered it. Yeah.
So what they're working on now, they're worried about that there's maybe 80 to 100 of these guys left. They think that they can bounce back, but it's called habitat fragmentation,
okay.
to where they're canopy dwellers. So if the canopy's not connecting, they're basically in islands.
So they're stuck. Yeah, I gotcha.
So the genetic pool is even smaller then.
Okay.
So they're working on reconnecting the areas in which they live to kind of give them a bigger habitat or connect, bit more genetic mates.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another one, like the ivory-billed woodpecker that was just rediscovered.
All right. Yeah. Well, good.
Do you like it?
I do. I got to see a picture of one of these guys eventually.
I'll show you.
Oh, you got one right there on the ready?
It's the one that they got.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They're tiny,
Yeah, it looks like it.
like smaller than your bottle of water.
Oh, gosh. Okay. That'd be a cool little pet.
They are highly trafficked.
Oh, never mind.
The other species of loris.
I don't want one then. It'd be neat to see one, though. A little tiny little primate.
These may be the Yeti because there's a cousin of them that lives near the Himalayas.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe these are just babies and they just get big.
Yeah, they just get 8 foot tall and... Yeah, let's just get one. Let's get one. We'll raise
Illegally?
it up and see if it turns into a Yeti.
Oh, now they are in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ready?
sad.
Ready for the next one?
Shouldn't be here. Yeah.
The pink-headed duck.
Oh, okay.
Just love the name.
Is he related to the blue-footed booby?
Not at all.
Okay.
The pink-headed duck is a rare diving duck once found in parts of East India, Bangladesh, and northern Myanmar, but it's been feared to be extinct since the 1950s. Numerous searches have failed to provide any proof of its continued existence. What has been suggested that there is still a small population existing in an unaccessible swamp near the northern region of Myanmar, and some sighting reports of this region have led it the status from being declared as critically endangered rather than extinct.
Oh, okay.
So literally, it was on the chopping block for being declared extinct. And reminding everybody at home, when an animal is declared extinct, no rights.
Correct.
So there's a big
No protection.
There's a big deal. Companies want them to be declared extinct because then they don't care. They don't have to do anything. If they are declared as critically endangered, they have rights, and that's internationally. So countries don't have to abide by that, but generally a lot of countries do or try to.
Mhm.
But there's no.
Just depends how much money you have, really.
Yeah. So appearance, both males and females of this species have long bills, long necks, and pink heads. The male has a very pink bill, head, and neck, while the female just has a palish pink head and neck with a paler bill. They have a black body that extends into a narrow strip from the front of their neck. Wings have a ledge of white on them. Upper side of the wing is a pinkish spectrum, which a spectrum is the color bar on the wings.
Okay.
That's how you're trained to ID waterfowl for surveys. You don't look at them, you look at the color bar. It's like flags.
Okay. It's like what?
It's like flags.
Flags. Okay.
Like countries' flags.
Right.
It's highly unique for the species.
Right.
So you don't focus on the whole duck. You just look at the color bars.
The color bars on their wings.
Mhm.
All right.
The upper side is the pinkish beige spectrum. Much lighter than its surroundings. The pinkish coloration is dull in females on young birds and nearly whitish head without a trace of pink in babies.
Okay.
So yeah, these guys, Asia, Southeast Asia, India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. Tropical moist forest. Pink-headed ducks occurred in a part of the Gangic plains of India, the Marrakesh of Bangladesh, and the ravine swamps of Myanmar. They are believed to not be or be non-migratory, but some populations possibly took localized seasonal movements.
Okay.
Rather, the scattered historical records make it really hard to understand what these birds did.
Okay.
But they were believed to be much more residential than migratory.
Right. It's what it sounds like. Yeah.
So that was a problem, though, when they start getting overhunted, because when they're out, they're out. Thus resulting in rare sightings of the species. Pink-headed ducks are found in the lowland marshes, swamps, lakes, pools, and tall grass jungles.
So they're still seen, or?
So yeah, I'll jump to that. They are believed to eat water plants and mollusks. There's not much known about them because they went extinct pretty quick. Mating habitats, they had 6 to 7 eggs, very sporadic. They measured about 2 inches long, very tiny eggs. Population, the reason for the disappearance of the species was probably habitat destruction. It is not known why it is all considered rare, but the rarity is believed to be genuine, as it is easternly habitat was frequently scoured by hunters in colonial times. The pink-headed duck was extremely sought after by hunters, and later as an ornamental bird, mainly because of its unusual plumage.
Okay.
So people were, first off, wanting to hunt them. These big game hunters were like, if you were a waterfowl hunter, this was like the top one in the world
Yeah.
to go get, is a pink-headed duck.
Right.
And then they wanted them for like I can't say the word now. Ornamental.
Ornamental. Yeah, there we go.
Basically, and they did that with several other birds. Like, I know the UK has an extinct species of goose. It's only found in the UK, and it's from like the islands out in the Pacific Ocean. Because they killed them all there.
Oh, and brought them here.
And brought them to the UK.
Yeah.
There's like 3 ponds. They live out in the UK.
Oh, gosh. And that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, so
they're fancy ducks is what you're saying.
the last specimen was attained in 1935 in India. Some birds are also kept in aviaries in France and in England, where the last known birds lived in captivity. The IUCN has red listed them, and other sources don't provide a number of the pink-headed duck's total population size. Currently, the species is classified as critically endangered, which is the last step before extinct.
So they're still out there, but just in very pocketed, small known populations?
It's argued
okay.
that they're still existing.
Wildly?
Huh?
In the wild?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So there's a story of a guy that has pretty much dedicated his life to proving that these things are still out there.
Okay.
So after years of trying, one man thinks he will finally find a bird long thought to be extinct, is the name of the article, and it's by David Smith. Many over the centuries ago, wetlands of Korta, India, lived a shy type of duck with a bright pink head, named abruptly for that. The pink-head duck was in the wild. It was from the mouth of hunting dogs who delivered the carcass to Charles M. Ingres, curator of the Dura Jingle Museum outside of the India city in 1935. Officially, the pink-headed duck was listed as critically endangered. The last confirmed sighting was 1949. But the reports of pink-headed birds were been seen for decades since. Like everything from people, like tourists that don't know what a pink-headed duck is. We're able to be like, oh, we seen it when we were out there. We seen a pink-headed bird. What was it? And so that's kind of the stuff that's kept it alive enough where they haven't declared it extinct. But many people now believe that it's not just rare or shy, but extinct. Richard Thorns is among the people. For years now, he's been searching for the pink-headed duck, and since 2009, he has traveled 6 times to Myanmar, where he believes the flock of about 50 birds still might live. Thorns, an enthusiastic 53-year-old Englishman whose looks can range from scholarly nerd to rugged adventurer, and he does. I've seen pictures of the guy. He pulls out both outfits.
I was saying you can do both.
First learned about the pink-headed duck in a book in 1997. At the time, he was working as a shop assistant and read about the stunning rare birds and the elephant grass and the lotus flowers that lived along them, and he realized, I don't want to be a shop assistant anymore. I decided to go look for the pink-headed duck instead. And he's been doing that ever since.
Oh, good.
He really is.
No, it's a great origin story.
For his journey in Myanmar, Thornton developed a theory that exactly where the pink-headed ducks could be hiding. And follows his plan, returned to several searches as part of his search of the lost species. The campaign created by the Austin-based nonprofit Global Wildlife Conservation will attempt to relocate a handful of more than 1,200 species considered lost to science, along with unseen records or feared extinction. So the pink-headed ducks, they partnered with him because the pink-headed ducks on their list.
Gotcha.
To some little point of the quasi-extinct search of the lost duck, the bird's supposed to be extinct after all. People hope the pink-headed duck would prepare to think of a different way, Thorne says. It's like a detective story. Have we just missed it, or is it hiding out there once more? The Thorns is not the first to search it. Other people search for it. So basically, Thorns has an area where in December 2004, a team went to the wetlands north of the Igurwa Lake, which they met a young man named Sor Awag. I can't read any of these names. Who's said to be familiar with the ducks, have seen them more than once. One morning, a group went out to the grasslands where he flushed a flock of these ducks out of the waterland pool. A few dozen mallards rose into the air, and 3 foreign birdwatchers peered through telescopes. One duck broke off from the flock, climbed quite high, circled 2 or 3 times, and then descended back into the grass. The team later wrote in a published report, the 3 men all agreed the duck, a medium-sized, pale head, neck, dark body, and dark upper wings. It looked extremely like a pink-headed duck.
And that was 2004-ish, so that's very, very recent.
And all 3 of them agreed.
That's
so
what
3
it was.
different scientists were all in agreement that it was a pink. It looked very remarkably like a pink-headed duck.
You got 3 Ralphs out there, and I trust them.
Yeah, I would just trust one Ralph.
Me too. So 3, it's got to be true.
In part of the world, though, another bird with similar features, the spot-billed duck, may be some of the problem. A close cousin to the pink-headed duck.
Okay.
To where it has some of the similar markings, not bright pink or anything like that, but some of the basic colors and stuff like that.
And is it bright pink?
No, it's hot pink.
Like a tickle me, I don't know, it's hot pink, hot bright neon pink.
Yes.
Really?
I don't know about neon
Not
pink.
Not neon, but
it's bright pink, yes.
Okay.
It's highlighter pink.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And the males. The females are much more paler.
Like a flamingo pink.
Yeah. Maybe not as extreme as a really bright zoo flamingo.
Okay.
But some flamingo in the wild are that pink.
Okay.
Because they give them special food in the zoos to help them really brighten up.
Right, yeah.
So he went in his first visit to Myanmar. Thorne tries to keep to himself the purpose why he was there, what he was searching for. But in 2011, the country was still ruled by the military and the power since 1962. And even today, the government restricts the movements of foreigner travelers in this part of the country. Myanmar is rich in jade, gold, and other treasures. So the government is very, very strict on who and where and why you move around in the country.
Right. Makes sense.
Especially, they don't believe that he's out there looking for a pink duck.
It's too fishy. It's like those guys who thought you were out there doing that fish survey in Chicago.
Yeah.
Wearing the Ghostbusters equipment in a stream that's 2 inches wide. Yeah.
So Thorns had read the lone guide with a man locally famous for having built his own helicopter. And he said this, I figured if any eccentric enough to build their own helicopter, he might not be too adverse to being my guide. So Thorns says, they snuck further upriver than the government would ever allow. So he found a guy that built his homemade helicopter. And they were like, "Will you take me to look for the ducks?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll take you to look for the ducks."
Sure, hop on. I would not.
Well, it's the only way he's getting up there because the government's not letting him.
I guess so, but gosh, a homemade helicopter.
But they did not go unnoticed. One time they had been waiting on the boat until night fell to sneak downriver, hid in a temple, and pretended they were coming back to town from the south. Other times, Thorns traveled to the promising lake only to find on what was wrong off-limits side of the river. He was offered a boatman $1 million Qatar, however you say it, which is hundreds of dollars in US, to take him across. All the risk had an impact. On the third trip in 2012, the conflict in the country's north had heated up. Sneaking upriver on a boat was no longer an option. He was going to get shot and thrown in the river.
You can't use that one anymore.
So Thorns then got a bicycle and tried to pedal out of town. Looking back now, it was a mad thing to do, he says. On a small road, 2 kids roared on motorbikes. As Thorne fell, his hands coiled around the vehicle. A well-meaning woman brought him ointment, but he knew his hand was broken. Even today, he can't properly open his hand anymore.
The ointment didn't heal the broken bones?
No. But years later, spent parts of their trips relaxing on the beach in Myanmar's, public areas. But yeah, he's even got rewards out there. He spent a lot. He spends about $15,000 of his own money every year to go look for this duck.
Has he laid eyes on
Yes.
it? But he's just never had
On
it?
one of his most recent trips, 2006, he had an experience that convinced him he might be getting closer. On his last day in the field, the villagers where he in 2010, Thorne and his guide were showing the bird books to locals. One of the men came to the cafe and pointed to the pink-headed duck and said, yes, he sees this bird, but it's very rare.
Okay.
Has he ever seen it? Thorne's asking his guide, his interpreter. He said, no, he hasn't seen it. The man replied. Thorne probed further, had he ever seen it? And he said, yes, he had seen it elsewhere, the man said, 5 or 6 years ago up in the wetlands. Basically, in this area where the government's not letting people go,
Right.
the people are sneaking up there for fishing and stuff like that. Every once in a while, are seeing the ducks up there.
Yeah.
It was in 2010, a wrong village. But yeah, basically, he's not stopped. He has gotten to it a couple times where he feels pretty confident, like from a distance that he's seen one, but he won't. I can't 100% say.
Right.
Because there's the spotted tail duck. There is a couple other species.
He needs a closer inspection of the color bar to really confirm it.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
And not get shot in the head for looking for a duck.
Right, yeah. That'd be an awful way to go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the pink-headed duck. Do you think it's out there?
Yeah, I mean, if they're still claiming like the locals, I always trust the locals. I sure hope it is. It sounds like a unique individual.
I think they are. I think they're the non-migratory. I think that they just killed all the ones that people could get to.
Mm-hmm.
In this area where there's constant warring going on.
Gosh, yeah.
Is probably keeping them safe.
Yeah, it could be from people hunting them.
Yeah, because nobody wants to go up there because you're
going to get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thrown in the river.
Yeah, not good.
And there's wetlands are hidden and stuff like that. You can go past some of these wetlands off the river.
Not even notice.
Not even know they're there.
Yeah.
So I personally think they're still out there. I think there's enough credibility from sightings. And like you said, locals are still seeing them. And even the locals, yeah, they're pretty rare, but maybe once or twice a year we see them.
I wouldn't mind, sprinkling just a little bit of flavors of the forest on a pink-headed duck and grilling it up and seeing how good that might be.
Also, maybe we'll serve it at the jamboree as a
Pink-headed
special
duck?
dish.
Oh, yeah. It's only the $500 a plate.
$500
For a duck that rare?
It would be much more.
Oh, okay.
It would be much more.
$10,000.
Much more.
Oh, really?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, then we really got to get one of these ducks.
All right. We'll be back after this ad break.
Well, things are looking good for the Jamboree this year so far.
True, but I wonder if there's anything else that can make this event even more awesomer.
Well, there's really only one person that could be the judge of that.
Hey, that's a great idea. Let's give him a call.
2 whoops and tree knocks. Sasquatch is there.
Hey guys, what's up?
Well, we're going over the schedule for the Jamboree. Well, you wanted to see what you think.
Alright, well, let me take a look here real fast. Okay, so the VIP tickets are $50 a piece, and that gets you into the Friday night dinner and meet and greet with the speakers and special guests. Monster costume contest? Well, that looks good. A free family room with activities for the kids? Well, that's outstanding. A Bigfoot calling contest. Of course, it looks like you're going to have a lot of food. Oh, good, and you'll have the craft vendors back. Last year, I actually found a squatchtopus. Well, let's see who the speakers are this year. Oh, you have Connor and Alexis Fiden, and Randy Bauer, Ron Murphy, outstanding. Oh good, you guys will be speaking. Which J-clone is going to be there? That's my question. And Tony Merkel as well. Oh good, you're going to have Jake Dressel back. He was excellent last year. And Brian Wolf. Why does that name sound familiar? Well, I have to tell you, gentlemen, having gone to a number of these events, this looks like it's going to be one of the best ones of the year. Say, will Tiny Toes be there?
Tiny Toes?
Yeah, the little guy that was there last year.
Oh, you mean Paul.
Yep. Tiny Toes will be there as well.
Tiny Toes.
Cool, well this all sounds fantastic, guys, and I look forward to seeing you there. Until then, Squatch Dust!
Bye! Squatch Dust.
You gotta love it.
I mean, it's very close to Bigfoot breath garlic dust.
That's what it is. That's what he is. He's throwing that
so
in their eyes.
when he dematerializes into a different dimension,
That's what he's leaving behind.
Yes, it's not. I thought it was a different material.
Nope. It's flavors of forest, Bigfoot breath, garlic powder.
Aha! Get you some at flavorsforest.com/corn.
Next animal we have on the list, the Japanese wolf.
Ooh, now we've talked about this one
Yeah.
very briefly in another episode.
Have we?
I'm pretty sure we have because it sounds familiar. I think we talked about it with when we talked about the other potentially extinct animals in Japan, like the giant, was it worms?
Oh, yeah. No, the giant worms episode, I think it was the bears. And
The bears,
That
yeah.
may have been Patreon
Okay.
because the bear that killed that whole village.
And I think we may have mentioned the wolf in that episode, but
Yeah.
either way, here we go. The Japanese wolf.
The Japanese wolf, Canis lupus hydroxyphil, is hydrophilus. I can't say it. Also known as the Hushan wolf. Hushan wolf. I don't speak Japanese, so I apologize.
Oh, okay.
But it's an extinct subspecies of gray wolf that was once endemic to the islands of Hiroshima or Hiroshima. I can't say any of this. Japan, the archipelago of Japan.
Okay.
Wolf was native to the archipelago of Japan.
Fair.
It's one of the two subspecies that were once found in the Japanese archipelago. The other one being the Haikoda wolf. Genetic sequencing indicates that these wolves are highly divergent from living wolf populations. So they were pretty genetically distinct.
I think it's Hokkaido.
Hokkaido?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's a prefecture in Japan.
Is that like their states or counties?
Yeah, like regions.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Hokkaido is a city or whatever.
But yeah, it's a region around it too. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I don't know.
despite long being revered in Japan, the introduction of rabies and canine distemper in Japan led to the decimation of the population.
Mm.
And policies erected during the Meiji Restoration led to the persecution and the eventual extermination of the subspecies in the early 20th century.
Oh no.
Well-documented observers to similar canids have been made through the 20th and 21st centuries and have been suggested to be surviving Japanese wolves. But however, due to environmental and behavior factors, doubts persist over their identity. So yeah, they had two diseases come in from around the world that kind of really hit the population hard. And then there were pretty much government wars on the ones that were left.
When was that roughly?
World War II.
World War II or 10? Okay. Huh. So I think I know the very last one of these that existed.
Oh, was he a wrestler?
Yeah, it was a sumo wrestler called Chiyono Fuji. And I don't know if anyone can Google that, but Chiyono Fuji, the wolf. That was his nickname. I think that's what his name might have translated into.
I actually have something about here.
About what?
Him.
No, you don't. Okay, then read it.
Ono Chuni.
Yeah, there you go. No,
How do you say his name?
Chiyono Fuji.
Ah.
Yeah. No, he was, but his nickname was the Wolf, and he was obviously from Japan, but he was small and like really muscular.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a Yokozuna, but one of the greatest of all time too. And like I said, he wasn't like, you think of sumo wrestlers, big fat guys. That's what people that don't watch typically just think of.
Oh no, they're highly muscular, and I don't care for sumo wrestling.
Yeah,
but they are highly muscular
and
people.
This guy was highly muscular and had no fat on him, and he was fighting the biggest guys and regularly beating them. Like I said, he was a top, but he was the Wolf. So he just passed away recently, past 10 years or so, 10, 15 years. I can't remember exactly when he passed away. But he was the last Japanese wolf. He was the wolf.
We talk about that with hippos too. That people that don't understand just think they're big fat things.
Gosh,
but they are literally barrels of muscle. There's not very much fat on them.
No. And they're faster than you think.
45 miles an hour. You cannot outrun a hippo. So the Japanese wolf, or the Hinoshu wolf, Canis lupus, again, subspecies. Skeletal remains over Japan have been found in archaeological sites. A bunch of the shell mounds dating back to the Jormo periods from 10,000 to 250 BC. So they're all over. They were highly there. Japanese wolf is not the world's smallest wolf. The cranial length of the adult Arab wolf, which is another subspecies of gray wolf, is much smaller. But they're not very far off.
Okay.
So they're pretty small for wolves.
Yeah.
So for here, if you're listening in the U.S., much closer to big coyote sized.
Okay.
So not like the northern gray wolves where they get massive, or timber wolves, which is another subspecies, get absolutely massive. But yeah.
Or a modified gray wolf. An abomination gray wolf made in a lab.
An examination of the sequence of 113 ancient canis species from China and Russia did not match this wolf, which indicates none of the species or specimens were ancestors of the Japanese wolf. So analysis of the mitochondrial DNA in a 1576 dog worldwide revealed that the Kushi and the Siberian Husky pose the same holotype as a Japanese wolf, indicating past crossbreeding.
Okay.
A more refined study in Japan wolf mitochondrial DNA showed that the further divided between the two separate groups, and they were substance from one of the Kushis, a Siberian Husky and a Shiba Inu. Is that how you say that, Shiba Inu?
I have to see
The famous meme dog.
I still don't know.
I think it's Shiba Inu. Could also be derived from these two groups. These dogs correspond with clade F. I mean, I can go into more detail if you want. Basically, the Japanese wolf is very distinct, even though it is a Canis lupus.
Right.
And there are several species of dog that seem to be more related to this animal than others. So it points, and wolves have been...
Like a root species?
Yeah, for the specific groups of dogs.
Yeah.
But dogs have been domesticated. It's just showing dogs have been domesticated dozens of times across the world.
Throughout history.
Yeah. And it's always it's always gray wolves.
Yeah.
It's always Canis lupus. Any questions?
Interesting. Well, any modern sightings, is there any inklings of them still being around?
So, a mix of domestic and feral dogs are common in Japan. And distinguishing the original wolf was already very difficult, as scientific approaches to classification of these species indicated in the beginning, with other authorities having trouble distinguish damaged by wolves and dogs.
Okay.
This is one of the things that really led to they were getting blamed for things that they probably weren't doing.
Yes.
And they were getting wiped out.
Like the thylacine.
Plus, intentional crossbreeding between wild wolves and female domestic dogs being chained outside created strong breeds that were common in several types of wolves. And they're commonly recognized to the public, including potential F1 hybrids. So that means first-generation hybrids.
Yes.
The aspect led Japanese research to indicate the hybridization of several among wide-range archipelagos, including Hakatodo, which made distinguished genetic and morphological studies. So yes, there are still, in some of these farming communities, there are still wolf attacks. There are still wolf sightings. But it's really hard to tell, are these wild dogs?
Right.
Are these actual Japanese wolves staying around? Or are these hybrids from the turn of the century,
right,
of 19th or 20th century?
With dogs and wolves.
With dogs and wolves.
Like our German Shepherd Coyote hybrids around here. I wish, I would like to think it's still the original wolf, but...
I will say this about Japan and the islands and the archipelago. There is enough rural communities that there could still be something out there. We've talked about several of the episodes of the aliens, the giant worms and stuff.
Yeah.
You get this idea, or at least I think foreigners to Japan get this idea, because I had it before we started doing this kind of stuff.
Everything's Tokyo.
It's tiny,
yeah.
Right? Japan's tiny. It's not tiny.
Right.
And it's very, like you said, everything's Tokyo. No, you go to the northern part of Japan, it's much more like the mountains of Colorado.
Yep.
And you go to the southern part of Japan, it's like Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's a huge, long island with tons and tons of different habitat.
And a bunch of little islands right off it.
And tons of rural places.
Yes.
It does have a pretty high population for its landscape, but those are mostly in 4 cities.
Mostly in one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tokyo is
right.
absolutely massive, but there are other major cities in Japan. There's also been, some villagers had wolf charms to protect themselves from wolves and their crops from wild boars. Wolf fangs, hides, and stuff were carried by travelers to ward off evil spirits. Wolf skulls were kept on some home shrines to ward off misfortune. So, whether it's the smell of wolf and that. So I do have some sightings for you. Despite the status, there's various canine reports resembling the Japanese wolf in the 20th and 21st century. And most of the ones are by foreign tourists. 3 of these, a kill within Fugai Castle in 1910, 2 sightings in Chaluba in 1996, nearby Mount Soto in 2000. Involved closely taken images of each animals in scientific investigation, with a potential audio recording made in 2018.
Ooh.
These cases triggered debate both against the identity of the animals. However, affirmative biologists claimed basically the morphological between Canis lupus, rather misidentification of feral animals, such as the Eurasian wolf, which is 1910, or the Soko dogs in 2000. So there was a Eurasian wolf captured in Japan in 1910.
Oh, wow. Wonder how he ended up there.
It was a zoo, a mobile zoo.
Oh, okay.
The Eurasian
Escapee.
wolf had fled a mobile zoo.
Oh, okay.
The Eurasian
Escapee.
wolf had fled a mobile zoo for 4 or 5 days before. However, the staff in the zoo checked the corpse and confirmed it was the animal.
Okay.
1996, a sighting. The photographer spotted a wolf-like animal walking on the side of the road, photographed it several times. The canid disappeared, or displayed no fear, even walking right up to him. Several people analyze this, and the animal does closely resemble a Japanese wolf, but some people think it may be a hybrid with the way it was behaving towards the man.
Like it was a domesticated dog.
Or had some domesticated dog in it.
Or it was a demon.
Or it was a skinwalker.
Yeah, it was a black shuck.
Well, the black shucks were good, depending on which country.
Right. Japan, bad.
Are they?
I don't know.
Europe, some of the Europe. I think Ireland, they're good, right? When we did the black shuck episode.
I think so, yeah. Europe, it sounded like they were good.
Because the white ones were bad.
Bad, yeah. The black shucks were good.
So there was a team had over 70 camera traps set up in the mountains in 2018. One camera recorded footage of a deer running by with a howl heard in the background. Analysis of the howl specifically found and nearby identified as an eastern wolf.
Eastern wolf.
So it's not the subspecies there. So there's a chance that it may be the closest living thing because we don't have any records.
Right, yeah.
Despite the numerous well-attended sightings and records of canis closely resembling wolves, significant doubt persists among experts of the species' continued survival, as Japanese wolves primarily traveled in small packs, while most were alleged sightings have been singular in individuals. In addition, the wolves inhabited a deciduous forest composed largely of Japanese birch. Over 40% of their habitat was logged during World War II and replaced with plantations. The artificial carnivorous forest did not support diversity, and Japan's wolf relied on them. So it's likely the Japanese wolf is extinct, and only DNA evidence can confirm or deny the identity of these sightings of canis in Japan.
I cannot confirm or deny I've seen this wolf.
I cannot confirm or deny
I had to
seen
say
this
it.
wolf. No, so there's a chance that they are still out there. I kind of think, I don't know. It's really hard because they were pretty hunted hardcore.
Yeah, and we know the Japanese in their hunting, they usually go all out. And if they want to kill
The
something...
Japanese government, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Whaling.
Yes. The Japanese government. If they want something dead, they're going to usually make sure it's dead.
Because they were logging in the forest for World War II. And so they didn't want anything that could harm
Gotcha.
back.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know. It could be wild dogs. It could be hybrids. There could be still a couple of them left.
That's what my guess would be. They've hybridized it. They've bred themselves out of existence.
Yeah, the ones that were left.
Yeah.
That's why they probably are singularly seen.
That would be my guess. I mean, but I don't know. I would like to think there's one purebred still out there, but I guess maybe that is too my bias. I just also think Japan's just too small to hide them, I guess. Or
I think there is still enough hidden habitat in Japan.
I
in the
agree.
mountain ranges. And
I agree.
That there could still be a population, but they also do have a big wild dog problem in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And especially some of the rural villages.
Yeah.
There is a big problem with wild dogs attacking people.
Oh, that's not good.
So I don't know if the wolves did survive. They would probably either breed with the wild dogs or the wild dogs would win because the Japanese wolf were much smaller than a lot of the dog breeds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were like big coyote sized.
Okay.
Not saying they weren't ferocious predators,
But still.
but there was not, I mean, the big game they were hunting was much smaller than like the North American gray wolf or the timber wolf was hunting. You know, there's no bison they're chasing down.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But deer and stuff, they're still eating those kind of animals.
Okay.
All right, I got a couple more. I may do some honorable mentions here.
Okay. Let's do some.
The Java stingray.
Ooh.
It's the first marine fish to ever be declared extinct.
Okay.
Not good.
Why is that? I mean, what do you mean first marine fish? Like in modern times, I guess?
Yeah, by humans.
Yeah, okay.
The humans directly caused the extinction of this fish.
I gotcha. Okay, understood.
Not that it's the first fish ever to go extinct.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Fish.
I'm like, huh?
No, it's the first saltwater fish to ever be documented to go extinct.
Gotcha. Okay.
That they were very numerous, and then hunting and destruction and all of that wiped them out incredibly quick. They were declared extinct in 2020, so just recently.
Oh, wow.
But there are still sightings, and this is one that Forrest Galante is out there looking for. There's photos of banded stingrays, which are closely related. They're genus mates. So there's always a chance that it's them that people are seeing.
Yeah.
or that they're hybridizing, or that there are Java stingrays being seen and being mistaken for
Misidentified.
banded stingrays.
Yeah.
So that there's still some of them left, and people know that the banded stingrays are there. They're just calling them banded stingrays.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the ocean. You go extinct in 2020 or declared extinct in 2020.
They hadn't seen them for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Or at least they started going very, very fast.
Mm.
Next one. So that was the Java stingray. I still think they're out there.
Me too. It's the ocean.
It's the ocean. I think there could be a population. And then that's the speciation and stuff like that is really hard.
Especially in the ocean.
In 50 years, they lost 71% of their population, largely due to overfishing. And most of the time, they weren't even the targeted species.
It just ended up there.
Yeah. Fisheries are extremely important. So this is a warning animal, basically. Because for a marine animal to go extinct, a marine fish to go extinct.
That's pretty bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. That's not a good sign.
That's bad.
That's bad there.
Next one is probably the craziest looking animal on this list.
Okay.
And it's one that I've known for about forever, and it's so weird. The Chinese paddlefish has been declared extinct.
Oh, okay. I know that it's different from the paddlefish here.
100%.
I'm looking one up right now.
So paddlefish and sturgeon are very closely related.
Okay.
And it literally looks like a hybrid between the two.
Okay.
It's very, very odd looking.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it is.
It's very odd looking.
Yeah.
2003, researchers in the Chinese Academy of Fisheries Science captured, tagged, and released a female Chinese paddlefish. It was accidentally caught again in the Yangtze River.
The same fish?
Yeah, in just 12 hours. And after that, all communication with the fish tag was lost. It was the last time anybody had ever seen one of these things alive.
Oh, man. Okay.
The same team of researchers assisted with the species is critically endangered, possibly extinct, for the red list in 2009, but the Chinese paddlefish is listed among the world's largest freshwater fish, growing up to 23 feet in length.
Oh, so it's freshwater exclusive.
Yeah. And they may have gotten bigger.
Are there any ocean paddlefish?
No, but there are ocean sturgeon.
Okay, maybe that's where I was getting
Well, there's
confused.
only two paddlefish left, and the Chinese paddlefish and the American paddlefish.
So there's only one left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Well, these guys might still be out there. There's officially one left.
In 1993, species was probably functionally extinct, but they have a really long life cycle, so it's really, really hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Okay.
Chinese paddlefish is, or rather was, a very unique species. It was only one of the two living species of paddlefish, the other one being the American paddlefish, part of the ancient group of fish known to have existed since the lower Jurassic. So in conventional time scale, about 200 million years ago.
Oh, wow.
And there are with American paddlefish and with these paddlefish, there are fossil records where they are identical.
Okay.
Next to dinosaurs.
So
They have not changed.
Changed at all. It's a good body plan. Whatever it is, it works.
Given the Chinese paddlefish is one of two extant species of paddlefish, loss of such a unique and charismatic megafauna represents the freshwater ecosystems is repensively damaged. Basically, I mean, megafauna, 23 feet, and they were overfished. Basically declined dramatically due to overfishing. Estimates put the harvest of 25 tons of paddlefish per year during the 1970s. Then they started fragmenting the river and basin, which these are giant migratory fish.
So it's going to devastate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Genhoza Dam, I think, and that's the one that's caused all kinds of other problems in that part of the world. That massive dam in China.
I'm not for sure.
It's caused problems in other countries.
Oh, really?
It's so big.
Oh, gosh. I've probably seen pictures of it.
Yeah, it's massive. And they think that was probably the final nail because that was kind of cut their range in half.
Well, yeah. And when you're a big migratory fish, any small change is going to be difficult for you.
And there's people hunting for them. A team of researchers scanned available literature related to Chinese paddlefish in various publications and unpublished databases and found a total of 201 sightings of the specimen between 1981 and 2003. Most of the records came from below the dam. The researchers did a statistical analysis of the sighting and concluded that the specimens had become functionally extinct by 1993. And in the upstream part of the river, the lack of reproduction driven by the dams blocking the migratory fish, likely a major reason the species is functionally extinct. In the downstream section, the numbers fell due to habitat degradation because the fish would become entangled in nets meant for other species. Basically, the fishing nets, and the Mekong giant catfish and all the Asia, China specifically, had some of the biggest freshwater fish in the world, and they all kind of fell the same fate.
The dam.
That and the netting is really bad in the river because people are trying to subsistence fish.
Yeah. Meaning
catch food.
Right.
And these guys are just so big that
They end up in
they
the
end
nets.
up in them and they die.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, in the case of the Chinese paddlefish, the window of opportunity may be running out for several of the other species as well. The team surveyed, for instance, failed to record 140 other species that were supposed to be in the river.
Oh, no.
So when they were doing this study looking for paddlefish, they were obviously, recording everything else as well.
And just realized, wait a minute.
There's 140 species of animals missing.
That's not good. That's a bad sign.
Including the Baji, or the Yagat's river dolphin, which was recorded with photo evidence in 2002, but is never spotted again, which is one of the smallest dolphins in the world.
So that's another honorable mention.
Yeah. Same with the spiky-headed carp, the shovel jellyfish. Basically, tons of these animals in this river. It was one of the most unique rivers in the world for all this stuff.
Once was.
Yeah.
Wonder what happened. Industrialization.
The dam was a big one.
Oh, yeah. I think that falls under industrialization.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is one I still think is out there. At least adult specimens. I don't know. So functionally extinct and extinct are different.
Right.
I think long-term listeners of the show may know, but if you don't, functionally extinct means the population, there's still individuals alive, but there's no reproduction happening.
Right. Or there's not enough species to fully recover.
Yeah, there's not enough individuals to recover genetically.
Right.
So functionally extinct, they may be. I do not think they're truly extinct. I think there are probably some, because these fish live 200-300 years.
You said that like Yoda.
What?
Functionally extinct, they may be.
No. But these fish live 200-300 years, 23 to 25 feet long, thousands of pounds, bigger than most white sharks.
That's crazy. That'd be incredible to see.
I think there's a couple left.
They look like goblin sharks mixed with, well, whatever, a sawfish mixed with, gosh, I don't even know. They're weird looking. Paddlefish are weird.
In general, yeah. So the rostrum.
Yeah.
So that rostrum actually helps them. First off, they're paddlefish are filter feeders. This guy was a little bit of a hybrid.
Okay.
Between the cousins sturgeon, which are suction feeders, bottom feeders, and paddlefish, which are filter feeders.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Chinese paddlefish, it was the mix of both.
Okay, so they pull stuff up off the ground and filter it out?
Or they could filter.
Oh, or just doing both.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had a generalized mouth rather than both. The cousins both had a very
specialized.
Specific, very specialized.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's Ghost of Empires.
I got one more honorable mention.
Okay.
We've talked about him many before. Let's just talk about him again really fast. Trinity's Alps giant salamander. He's still out there, dang it. And we're going to find him. We're going to find him. We're going to get it one day. We're going to prove his existence and get protection rights for the Trinity's Alps giant salamander.
Is that our 2026 goal?
Gosh, I hope so.
Get that project going again?
Going again. Because what did we try in 2023? Was when that one?
Yeah.
We tried real hard. We got right up to it, but it just didn't have the funding.
$400 shy.
Pretty much, yeah. So save the salamanders.
Save the salamanders.
Bring back the Empire animals.
I do think they're still out there, but I think most of the animals on this list
are still out there.
Most of them.
Yeah.
The wolf is probably my most questionable, and then the monk seal also, just because a lot of other animals went the same way.
Right, yeah.
But yeah. So I've been the great and powerful Mr. E.
And I've been JClone72.
And remember, protect your environment. Unless somebody like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Bye. Hey guys, thank you for listening to Cryptids the Corn podcast. Remember, the best way to support the show is share it with a friend. But if you are craving more of the J clones
and more from Mr. E,
there's always extra content on Patreon
and our paid member space on cryptidsofthecorn.com.
We'll catch you next time with more exciting, fun, and informative information. Bye.